Show off. This one for my real good gal them. Yeah, 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 yeah. Glow up, glow up. Show off, show off.
Hi, soul family. How y'all doing? How y'all feeling? Jaya Fire back with another episode of this. Oh shit, I forgot the name real quick. The Sweet Tea Show. That's how you know it's been a minute, low key. Been busy. I've been trying to get my thoughts together, everything together. So yeah, but today is gonna be another video on healing, because it's a lot that goes into stuff. You know, a lot more stuff that needs to be elaborated. Another thing I want to say too, this is just for the people that is in the beginning of their healing stage. My videos mainly cater to those people. So if you've been through this already, or you already been through your spiritual journey, or whatever the case is, that's cool. Whatever, you could also add your notes. I probably do little stuff to cater to you guys as well. But this is more like people that's at the beginning, you know, giving them tips on what to expect during healing, because it's a lot. It's not perfect. It is messy. See, we're just gonna get straight into it. Okay, so the first one I want to really touch on is healing basically starts from the bottom up. And what I mean by that is you have your physical body, right? So mainly, or most cases, what you eat affects your mental health. You know, your gut is where your intuition lies, and your gut health affects your mental health. So if you're constantly eating junk food, you're not drinking enough water, or you're not working out, or whatever the case may be, that can affect your mental health. So in order to start some type of healing journey, you know, try going to the gym. That's why you be seeing people on TikTok, for instance, when they be going to the gym or whatever, and they be their motivation was their ex and they broke up with them, or a lot of people, they glow up after their relationship by going to the gym, or just really taking care of themselves physically. Yeah, once you start from the bottom like that, it really does help your mental health. I've been a product of that. I lost, when I was depressed, really at my depressed state, I was almost 200 pounds, almost, right? And then when I started healing, I started going to the gym or whatever, and I started losing weight, and then, you know, I started to feel better mentally. But saying that as well, don't get dependent on the gym to make your mental health better. It does help, but don't depend on it solely, because say you cannot make it to the gym one day, the gym is closed, or the weather, or whatever the case may be, right? You go back into that depressive state. Don't use the gym as a crutch. Scientifically, when you start to sweat and you start getting your adrenaline up when you go to the gym, it helps release all those stress hormones, right? But you know, just don't solely base it on that. But that is definitely a pro tip. Even if you don't have access to the gym, go for a walk, go for a run, do some push-ups, do some home exercises, whatever the case may be, right? I currently don't have access to the gym right now, so I just do some home exercises, go on YouTube, search up some videos, whatever you want to work on, do some yoga, do some meditation, but take care of your physical body first, and it will help make the healing journey more easier, because that's where everything lies, you know? Another thing is too, eating healthy, eat more vegetables, drink lots and lots and lots and lots and lots of water. Love the water. I used to drink a gallon a day. I still have, I have a bottle that's half a gallon. I haven't drank it in a while, to be honest, but it helps. Just drink that water, eat them veggies, stay away from the sugar as much, stay away from the salt, stay away from the carbs. Get that gut healthy, and that's really the whole point. Get that gut healthy, and everything else will come easy. You feel me? The next one is, think of healing as, say you're moving, right, to a new location. It could be apartment, it could be wherever you want. Just imagine you're moving, right? And you have your old house. Your old house has so many memories, the traumatic ones, maybe even the happy ones. Whatever memories it is, it's just old memories. It's history there. Like, you have such a connection to that house, but you know you need a fresh new start in this new house, right? Think of it as that. Like, healing is you're unpacking from the old house and moving into the new. So of course, when you're packing, you cannot bring everything, especially if you're like you're moving and, you know, it's on a plane, you're moving to another country, whatever it is. You cannot bring everything. Like, you could only bring like certain clothes, certain shoes, I don't know, just certain stuff. You can't bring everything. So you have to go through your stuff in your old house and be like, okay, do I really need this? Do I really need that? Just sorting through certain stuff, throwing out this, throwing out that, reorganizing this, deciding if you want this or that, right? Same thing with your mental health. You are basically unpacking a lot of stuff. So relate to that move as, you know, healing. You cannot bring everything into that new house, because what's the point of a fresh new start, a brand new house, if you're gonna bring everything from the old house to the new? You need to let go of certain stuff. You need to throw away certain memories. You need to reorganize your thoughts. You need to let go of that trauma. You need to not cling on to that history so much so you could have that fresh new beginning. It's difficult. Say you have a box full of clothes, and some of them clothes ain't gonna fit no more. Some of them shoes ain't gonna fit no more. You have to throw all them stuff out. No matter how sentimental it was to you, you have to throw it out. And those clothes and those shoes represent your trauma. You have to throw it out, you know? But I don't know, in that way it's kind of confusing, because what I could say is not necessarily throw out all your memories, because those traumatic stuff, they happen to you for a reason, and all you have to do is just carry on the lesson that came with those traumatic events, you know? But don't latch on to those emotions that came onto those traumatic events, because it could really prevent you from moving on into the present and looking towards the future, because you're holding on to the past. You're holding on to what happened, why it happened this way, and all type of stuff. But if you just really hold on to that memory for the lesson and not the emotions that are latched onto it, it will help you heal more, because you're not sad over what happened. You're not mad over what happened. You're not reminiscing over what happened. You're just like, okay, I took this lesson from that situation. It's time to move on so I can apply it to my present situation, or I can apply it to the future. Like, you don't want to really latch on to the past with emotions, because that's the root of depression. You're latching on to the past, filling them with emotions. But that's what the moving is for. You want to move on. You want to move into that new house. So you have to let go of that emotions, those attachments. Learn the importance of detachment. And when I say like detachment, I don't mean like, you know, be totally closed off, like have no emotions towards things, but really accept that whatever happens in life, it is what it is. It's nothing more to it. It's nothing less. It's just, it is what it is. Take it as that. And that's what I started to do. You know, if something happened to me, or like somebody did me wrong, I'd be like, you know, that was effed up, and I start getting in my emotions about it. But if I just look at it as it is what it is, like whatever they did reflects on them. They're just projecting on me, and that has nothing to do with me. That situation got nothing to do with me. Like, It is what it is. Life happens for a reason. Life is not perfect. Life is always going to have its ups and downs, but healing and being part of that spiritual side of life is to really help you maneuver through those ups and downs. It's not really to take away those bad moments. It's not really to always make sure there's good moments. It's just to maneuver through all of it without attaching to certain emotions towards it, because at the end of the day, you are not your emotions. Whatever you do is completely on you, but you are not your emotions. You do not have to lash onto that because you have a certain emotion towards it. Like, just go through life. It helps you be at peace when you just be like, you know what, it is what it is. Just detach, and yeah. Healing is unwinding your brain, literally. Like, all those past thoughts that you had, all those things that you learned in the past, like say it's from your parents, say it's from society, whatever it is that no longer resonates with you no more, you have to unwind your brain like a knot, basically. Like, say it's just all knotted up, right? You have to take your time to unwind that knot. It might take a minute. You might really sit there and just really trying to figure out, like, how do I untie this knot? But that's basically what you're doing with your brain. You're untying the knot to whatever attachment that you had, whatever false thing that was in your head, whatever trauma you attached to yourself because of your parents. And remember, everything starts from home. So whatever you're carrying into society is most likely what you dealt with in your childhood, you know? So it's just unwinding that, untying that, unknotting that, and just trying to figure out who you are outside of that trauma, outside of what society tells you. Trying to figure out who you are without the outside noise, without people in your ear telling you should do this, you should do that. Like, figure out who you are for you. Be at peace with yourself. Because once you untie that knot, you know you're free to do whatever you want without worrying like who's judging you, who's saying this and that. Just really being about you, saying F everybody's opinions. You know, you are you outside of your parents. You are you outside of your work, job, career, whatever it is. You are you outside of your family. You are you outside of society. You are you without whatever your significant other says. Like, what do you want out of life? You know, figure out what your purpose means to you. Unwinding all of that. And it's not gonna be easy. It's really not. It might take months because you might not be self-aware of everything that you attach to. But say if you have somebody close to you, like maybe a family member, maybe a close friend, and they notice all the stuff that, you know, that you do is kind of toxic, or the stuff that you're trying to leech onto, if you talk to them and be like, hey, like, be straight up with me, have a one-on-one with me, like, what do you see in me that I don't see in myself? And, you know, they could point out all the things, the good and the bad, or they might just point out the bad, or they might just point out the good, whatever it is. But like, have somebody look at you from the outside, because you know, once you're doing something, you know what you know already. Like, you don't know much outside of that. So if somebody's looking at you from the outside, they could peep what you haven't peeped about yourself, and you could be more self-aware. That helps, you know. And if you don't have somebody like that, take your time to, for instance, all those stuff that happened in the past, maybe the regret that you might have, right? Think about what you could have done in that situation to make it better. Stuff like that. Write down, okay, like, instead of, you know, people pleasing, for instance, and begging that person to stay, or whatever the case may be, I should have just let them go. And you reflect on that and be like, okay, I should have done this instead of that, so I wouldn't have to go through that in the past. And then jot it down, like write it down on a piece of paper, write it down in your journal, whatever you do to really jog that memory, put it down somewhere and be like, okay, I should have done this, but in the future, I'm gonna do better. In the future, I'm gonna apply this. I really do hope I'm making sense. Like, for real. Because I'm just talking. But I really do hope I'm making sense, though, for real. Because it takes a lot to unwind your brain. Because when you're, say you were depressed or something like that, right? You like programmed your mind to really have you in this depressive state all the time. So really unwinding your brain to come out of that depressive state, it's gonna take a lot of self-awareness and devotion to really change what you become. Because it's you could be self-aware all you want, but are you really gonna change your circumstances? Are you really gonna change, what you did in the past to really make a better future for yourself? That's the real question. You could be self-aware all you want, but I ain't gonna do nothing if you don't put action towards it to be better as a person. You could, somebody could tell you, you do this and that, you do this and that, and you'd be like, oh, I know, but that's just me. I ain't gonna change that. That's just me as a person. Okay, you're self-aware that you're doing that because obviously you claim that's you as a person, but if you want better for yourself, if you really want to heal, you have to change those ways. It's the only way to really move forward into that new house, you know what I'm saying? It's all about moving into that new house, that new phase, that new cycle, that new beginning, that new season. Like, you cannot carry the old into the new. It's not going to work because you're just going to be stuck in that same place, and you're going to be wondering why I keep going through this all my life, why I keep going through these lessons, why I keep doing this, why I keep doing that. It's the same thing. I feel like I'm stagnant. I feel like I'm stuck in the same place because you're holding on to the past. Let that ish go. Unwind your brain. Unwind what everybody's telling you in this world. Figure out what you want for yourself. You feel me? Yeah, speaking of a new phase, sometimes you may go through a lesson. Say you went through a lesson like probably 2 months ago. You feel like you're in this new phase. You feel like things are finally moving for you, and you come across that lesson again. It's not like you didn't pass it the first time or things just went wrong completely. It's just that sometimes that lesson comes back up to just make that little tweak, little perfection to make it adjust into that new phase that you're already in. That lesson worked for you in the past because you were in a different phase, but you want to apply that lesson to your new phase, so that lesson might come up again to just do a little more tweaking, adjust it to the new phase that you're in. I hope that made sense. Like, if you get it, you get it, because that's the only way I could just be like, it makes sense. Like, you learned something in the past. It worked for you in the past. You went through that lesson or whatever. Actually, no, here's a good one. Say relationship-wise, right? You learned your lesson with your ex. I ain't gonna let nobody manipulate me. Cool. You meet this new person, right? And little do you know, they might come with the same tendencies of trying to manipulate you. Are you going to let that person manipulate you because, oh, they cute, they took me out one time, they do this and that? Or are you going to stand on your boundaries and keep that lesson that you learned in your old phase and bring it into the new and realize, okay, I deserve better. Just because you cute, just because you cute don't mean ish. I'ma still stand on my boundaries. That's what I mean. Like, that old lesson is gonna come back up to make sure you perfect it. Like, you ain't gonna go back into your old habits because you comfortable in that. Like, no. Move on. Healing is very uncomfortable. You gotta be comfortable with being uncomfortable. You feel me? Yeah. And the next one, last but not least, when you are in between those phases of the old and the new, it's gonna be a lot where you're stuck in the middle, because it's like you're kind of like traveling, right? So you're leaving the past, this is the present, and then that's the future, your new phase. You feel that phase coming in. So right now you in that stage of letting go of the past, really stuck in the past, but carrying on those new energies with you. Your energy becomes very sensitive at that time. And that's where the lessons or the tower moments or the shadow work comes in, or whatever you want to call it, right? Just really taking in those lessons, saying, hey, am I gonna bring the past into the new, or am I gonna fully embrace the new and just let go of that old phase of myself and just be like, hey, I'm ready for this new journey? Your energy becomes sensitive at that time, because I know a lot of people are familiar with this phase. Like, once something good comes in for you, the devil works harder, or the negative energies try to come at you more. You feel this new phase come in, but at the same time you're overthinking it. At the same time you want to self-sabotage. At the same time you want to dabble into those little things that you was comfortable with in that past energy, but it's literally right there. All you have to do is let go of that little certain thing, past that little phase, past that little lesson. Let go of those negative thoughts, those thoughts that had you in that past phase, to go into the new. It comes very sensitive at that time. You have to be really self-aware at that moment as well. Like, okay, I'm going into this new phase. I'm not gonna let these certain energies attack me even more, because that's when it works the hardest. Honestly, that's when the negative energy works the hardest. When you're going into that new phase, you gotta tell yourself, hey, snap out of it. Don't let that affect you. What did you learn from this? Move on. What do I want? What is my end goal? Yeah. I think that's it. I really hope that made sense. Pretty sure that made sense. Majority of it made sense. Yeah. Hope you enjoyed. Pass it on to your friends, your family. Like, comment, and subscribe. And yeah, enjoy the rest of your day, evening, whenever you're watching this. And I'll be back with another video with some tips and tricks on healing, whatever. But yes, just remember that outside of everything, stick to who you are. Figure out who you are. You are love. You are light. And that's it. You're it. You're that it boy. You're that it girl. Like, you're it. That's it. Just keep that in mind, and everything else will just flow.